Alright, Uside was good. This is, big generals in the building. Yeah, we got different faces. We got our ladies in here. We got some of our ladies. We got Akia Outing. Oh, our queen.
There we go.
Amber Grant. Oh, almost forgot. I'm just playing. And Ebony Carlson. I got my big dog Steve, of course. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we the service for the day. So it's gonna be a woke service. So we're finna pray right now. So go ahead and set the precedent. All right. Go ahead.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come before you today with thanksgiving in our hearts, Lord, and just a humbleness, Lord, to be able to come before you and to experience this round table discussion, Lord. Hopefully it will be a blessing to someone, Lord. We ask that you be here with us today, Lord, that you bless this time and this service, Lord, and we just thank you, Lord. We thank you for all you've done. We thank you for keeping us and our families during this time, Lord. We thank you for all the people that are connected to us, Lord Jesus. That we just ask that you continue to cover them and cover us, Lord. We ask that you be here with us today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. So today we're gonna sum everything up. Like these past couple of weeks in this series that we've been working on. The championship mindset, RDX, a lot of profound statements have been made. Some of them like discipline is your reward, run into your giants, champions avoid that adversarial mindset. They embrace failure, and they learn from it. And we have, it's a lot of profound statements, it get you pumped and motivated, but you need to make it practical, make it plain. And so today, that's the goal. And how we apply this championship mindset in our lives. I take a great example is like if I had I'm an upper body guy. I love my upper body. My lower body is weak. So if I got a trainer, right? And he's telling me, hey man, discipline got to be your reward. You got to get right. That foundation. Those are true. You got to run and face your giants. You got to be dedicated. Da, da, da. And he's telling me all that. That's I'm motivated, that's cool, but if he got to break that down. If he actually chose a route like saying that, actually, my legs are small like yours, but this is what I did to build them up, what I'm saying? Now that's different, that's inspiring. It's like, oh, now it's connecting that it's giving me something I can see. And so that's basically what we're doing today. And it's connecting those profound statements. And then he can tell me a regimen that he does that works for him. And how he established getting his legs swollen. You know what I'm saying? He may do something every morning. He does, burpees, something like that. And he's telling me, different specific steps that work for him. Right. And so you understand that he's just like you. He had the little legs just like you, but he had to work. He worked for it. You know what I'm saying? And like the same coach that, this is different. He has a regimen as far as avoiding eating bad snacks and all that, right. Different bad foods, and so. He can give you like, oh, well, I drank tea at night, that curbs my appetite. It's specifics that'll help you. You like, oh, okay. So now I can drink that little tea at night. Now I don't want the donut. Now I don't want this. So because he has the same urges, but he's trained in those specific urges. He found a different regimen, and that helps him with his and he applies discipline to that regimen. And that's basically what we're trying to do today. We're trying to connect all that, and we're going to do that with discussing our spiritual struggles. Because a lot of times when you think about the church, we stay on the superficial, we stay on the surface. We just say, yeah, you need to read your Bible, you need to pray more. But we stay there because we don't want to look too bad. We just come here and like, hey, yeah, I need to read my Bible more. But deep down, no, I'm dealing with some issues. But you understand, you have to speak. You want to actually speak with your brother about those issues because that provides hope for other people. And they understand that, oh, so the church is for the broken. Oh, that's what he's out there talking in church, and he's broken. Wow. So it's not something where I'm just I'm holy with style, and I'm this far. No, I'm just like you. I'm jacked up. So, but I have to constantly I have to train. Just like my little leg, I got to train that. I got to train, and I got to apply discipline in certain areas. So we're gonna speak today what works for me. We're gonna speak today with all our spiritual struggles. We're gonna discuss. We're gonna reveal them. And we discuss how we're fighting them, how we're training in those spiritual struggles. And we'll go from there. And you take what you can, from it, apply what you can. You take some, like I said, it may work for you, it may not. But the whole purpose is that you see Just develop your whole regimen, develop your own regimen, and apply discipline. And that starts with that examination portion. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to examine ourselves today, and we're going to bounce back different ideas. So before we do that, though, I want to confirm some things with the scripture before we get too far into it. Let's go ahead and get this. Well, I want you to confirm some things with the scripture. So, because today is all about we being transparent, and we're talking about the training portion. All right. So, as far as transparency, Ephesians 4:25, it says, "Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another." That's that transparent. So it's in the Bible. We definitely want to be, reveal some things. It helps. It helps inspire other people. James 5:16. "Therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for one another, that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working." Amen to that. Now we got a few verses on training. We got 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17. "All scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be competent, equipped for every good work." Timothy 4:7 through 8, "Having nothing to do with irrelevant, silly myths, rather train yourself for godliness. For while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come." Amen to that. 1 Corinthians 9:24-27. I'm tired of talking. See, go ahead.
I got the Hebrews one on here.
No, you gotta do that. Do a different version. I gotta keep it rolling.
So Hebrews 12, verse 11 and 13. "For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Therefore lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths of your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed."
First Timothy, last one, 1 Timothy 4:8. Anybody? Let me go ahead.
Yeah, we don't have it.
You don't have it?
For while bodily training is of some value, godliness is the value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, all those verses, it confirms what we're doing. We're being transparent with our weaknesses. We're being transparent with one another. And we're training. We're developing a regimen, and we're talking about training. It's in the Bible. It's talking about how that training. So it's we live under grace. Like my pops preached the other day. The championship is already won. We're just trying to develop those champion-like qualities. And that's how you develop them, is by that training. And you gotta examine yourself, examine your weaknesses, and we train on those. All right, so let's dive into it. All right, so one of my struggles is definitely, I would say, would be lust and like idols. I got a couple idols as far as in my life. I think lust was a big one in college. Developed bad habits as far as just dealing with multiple women. It was that lustful desire, it overcame me. So I was always, I sought that. My whole thing after class was what the play is afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So, and if the play don't come through, if the lady doesn't come through, then I just go to pornography. So it's just that cycle. I just kept it going, and that's why I don't judge nobody that's out there, especially because I understand the feeling, of having, especially when that lust takes control and you just go. You're not your mental capacity and your physical strength is no match for life. You're gonna fail at every single time, and so that's always been one of mine. And so that habit became, it embedded in me. And that's even, I got married, and I still, up to the point of marriage, I still was in that habit. It just happened, my kids saved my life. I was just like, all right, my kids centered my focus. And so, but me not necessarily sleeping with another woman don't mean I haven't conquered that lust, or is it not? It's still inside my spirit, inside my body. So the biggest thing that I had to do is I realized that lust still was there even though I got married. You know what I'm saying? Because of what I started to do that to my wife. So eventually, what happened was, I will, the only time she will feel the compassion and the love is when it was time to have sex. But outside of that, it was just the plain queen. The energy level goes to a 1. It's just regular. How you doing as far as conversation? It would be bland. They're just like, oh, yeah, you know, she's excited. Her energy level is 10, and I'm coming at her with a 3. Like, if you're talking about your day, like, all right, yeah, that's cool, or, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm coming at you. You get what I'm saying? And so I realized that it's still, even though I'm married, I'm treating my wife just like I'm living single, which is, all right, after work, get the kids done. All right, baby, it's time to get right. You know, but then when it's time to have sex, she sees the real. Oh, I'm there, like I'm a 10, and that. But it's that same side. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I seen that fall, and if she doesn't come through, say like she's tired, or Quinn, hey Quinn, you know, you need to, we need to, I'm tired tonight. Then it just be like, all right, go look at pornography. You know what I'm saying? And so you can start that cycle. So I'm just waiting, just like, that's what I'm living like. So if she ready, I'm about it. If not, I got my backup. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still living like that. So even though I got, on the outside, it looked good that I'm married and Quinn, you just stepped up for your kids. But no, that lust is still in the house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. I'm just, I have common sense. Oh, I'm not gonna step outside of my marriage. You know what I'm saying? But it's still there, and that's why my wife, I tell her all the time that you saved me because she's so sensitive, and her spirit she'll get sensitive quick. So she's a gauge that she helped me see that quickly, and especially when in our few years that we were married, I started, when you only, you know how you used to talk to me, it's like this, it's all about sex. I made sex a job because it's just when we go out, we have a good time. You know what time it is after we get out, after we get home. And there is no, that's what my mission was. My mindset still was, hey, when I'm done, I'm gonna take her out, I'm gonna make her smile, and then get the nightcap.
Like how it was out before you got married.
Like it was before I got married.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, you know what I'm saying?
Set the mood.
Set the mood.
Yeah.
And then if my wife had her awareness, and that's why I say her sensitivity, it picked up on that quick. You know what I'm saying? Because this became second nature. It ain't like I'm not even able to see it, because sometimes it's just like I'm just vibing like, all right, I'm doing this. But my goal is to get off still. You know what I'm saying? It's not to cherish the moment I have with my wife while we're sitting there like this is even though I do cherish the moment, but the lust is so powerful, and you can feel it. You can feel it coming off me, because once we get to the house, it's time. So there ain't no like, it feels like work to her now, because she knows Quinn took me out. I know it's horny behind.
She's obligated.
Yeah, he's horny behind ready. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the that's that cycle. And then I can immediately, if she's not in compliance, my spirit is off, and I can't even control it. Like I could literally be sitting there be like, I'm have the poker face and like, nah, I'm cool, I'm just chilling. It's okay, babe, but you can feel it in spirit. You can feel it in the room, and that's one thing as far as lust. And then what I've learned in training in that area, my wife helps me because she's a gauge. She lets me know when I'm getting off. But hey, you're not courting me. You're not doing the necessary things that you need to be doing right now. So you need to step up. And like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. And she's my, she's my workout partner, so you need to step up in that area. And it helps me because it helps me control that lust factor. Oh, I know it's there. And so now, when I train in it, she's one of my training regimen. That's why it's good to be married, because she able to gauge that. Because without her, it'd probably be everlasting. Like it's whatever, And when it takes control, you're willing to get off work and go away to Daytona, anywhere. It can be 3 o'clock in the morning. You're willing to do whatever, just to achieve that. That's that lust thing right now. Just that overbearing, So that's one of my trainers. She's one of my. So you get the part where that's my struggle. She's a part of that training regimen. She helps me gauge. Another part, as far as training in that area, is me setting boundaries for myself. So I have to go on social media. Is just like softcore porn. So I have to go literally and I have to unfollow all the Instagram models. I unfollow because I know for me it don't take much. Because me looking at that'll plant a seed inside me, and now she gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's time, back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's that, and another. So it's what I just said as far as my regular.
Your regiment was to.
Yeah, social media. So that's social media. And then my next one that I do is the music. I have to balance out a lot of times the music I listen to, because I love my music, but it does impart in me that wrong spirit. It feeds the lust portion. So if I'm riding in my Chevy and I got Hendrix on, Future, and he talking about she a part of my collection, it brings a smile to my face. And I think back in college, I'm like, oh, that butt, but it just planted something. It planted something in me. And it's not going. I'm telling you, it's not going to be something when I go home that I'm gonna act wild. No, I'm a good. If you see me at the house, I'm a great father, a great husband, and all that. But over time, it grows. It just keeps growing, and eventually I get off track, and then she becomes my gauge. So and then that helps me. That's what I tell her. She say, you know what I'm saying? That's why she's a blessing. So I get off track, and so that's the two biggest things for me is using is the social media and the music that I listen to. I have to hone that in and be aware of it. And God give me so much. He knows it. When I'm listening to it, I just got you know what I'm saying. So I try to like balance out, because I'm not cold turkey cutting out my music. I do like the vibe, especially if I'm playing Call of Duty or if I'm at the gym. I like to bang out, but I can be more selective as far as, especially those ones that pertain to women. I really try to back that off, and I try to just listen to more worship throughout. Make sure I'm consuming more of that, and then I'm gonna work on eventually just it being less and less. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't cutting it out. But yeah, so I'm just working on that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but those are the two biggest things for me right there. And then my second one, I'm gonna be done, is like idols, like false. I have idols. I put things before God, like my video games. It may seem like a joke, but I'm a gamer at heart. My boy Shannon know what time it is, but I'm a gamer at heart. So, and I find myself, I can spend hours on the game. If my wife's straight and my kids good, then I make sure wife good. Then it's all game. That can be, and I'm good like that. All this quarantine vibe, it's been heavenly for me because I just play the game. So, but I find myself that consumes most of my time, and so one thing I built, and that's the false god, because I'm giving that's the priority. And so what I've done for a regimen for that is, before I play the game, I seek God. I read the Bible and I seek God. So now I seek God more, because before I even turn that game on, it's God get His time. And I'm building that habit, just like this game habit, and I'm attaching that to the habit I have now. And hopefully you just keep building and building, and then that time be better. So that's for me. And I close with this as far as me. We setting the boundaries. That's basically what I'm doing. I can't leave the door open for lust and false gods, all that. Just like when you go out, when you leave your car, you lock it. You know what I'm saying? You lock, because you don't want nothing in. You don't want insects to come in and be there waiting on you when you come back in. You don't leave the door open. Even if you leave the door open, you send an invitation for everything out in the world to come sitting in your car. You know what I'm saying? And so when you get back, before long, a whole colony of ants or whatever, it's clutter. Come on, we get back there. See, it's come on, you get it right. Y'all tighten up. And I got. You that. You threw me off right now. But whatever. Deep. Well, so yeah. So we closing the door, and so I end with this. The boundaries. I'm setting the boundaries for myself. The social media, the music. And I'm setting the boundaries, and I'm seeking God first before I play the video games. Those are my boundaries that I'm setting. So I'm closing that door to that lust and to that false god. And so that training, that's the training. I'm setting those boundaries. My pursuit of God is going to keep that door locked. And so that's the key. So once you set those doors, now we will pursue God. And that's how you're going to that's how you're going to build that discipline. As I'm seeking His face. it's gonna keep that door locked. So I won't open it. Because if I become stagnant, which is my biggest thing, I become stagnant quickly. Eventually that door just opens back up and that lust all comes back in. They all come back in. And then you find yourself, how did I even get here? I was just talking in the church. How did I even get to this? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? How did I even get here? So that's it, you know? And that's why when you look at other people, you see, you know, pastors or anybody that's in the ministry, you be like, man, how they even do that? No, they human. That's why they do it. The door was open. It's the training. That's why the Bible big on training. It's just the amount, the athlete that you see. If he becomes stagnant, he becomes weaker. He becomes slower. And that's the same thing that applies to you spiritually. So it's a constant training. That's what I'm doing. That's what we gotta do. So yeah, you know, that's me right there. I don't know if you wanna go next.
I know for me, you know, I've learned that being that I have gotten so close to God and I have grown so much over the years that it's easy for me to almost forget where I was before.
Yeah.
So I have basically picked up a habit to where I don't extend as much grace to others.
Yeah.
It's almost like a judgmental spirit.
Yeah.
Because, and it's like you forget where you came from, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I was 21, 23 years old, I was not, like, I was wilding out here in these streets,
Yeah.
like, for real, just like any other, you know, young adult. And there was a lot of people, I'm sure, that was probably judging me. I've been literally kicked out of a church before, you know, because I was judged so much for what I was doing. But for example, if I see family members that are disappointing me, because I feel like they're not doing what they should be, you know, they're not where they're supposed to be at, or they just out here just sinning like crazy, it's judgmental on my part because, you know, I'm not better than them. You know, I'm still the same way, and I see myself like literally not extending the same grace that God has extended to me, you know, because He's brought me a long way. And you helped me with that, and my mother-in-law helps me with that, because I can't come to you and tell you like, oh, you know, basically judging somebody consistently, because that's not your heart. You know, you don't struggle with that. I do. So you won't really judge them. You would just be like, well, you know, this and that. You know, you can understand where they're coming from. So one of my training regimens that I have learned, instead of just being so quick to judge others, is to put myself in their shoes and understand where they at, where they're coming from, where I was before, and that helps me be more like, you know, understanding and not so judgmental on what everyone else is doing, because they're not up to like my standard. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like in the church, they do that a lot. We do that a lot. And the more growth that you see in yourself, it's so easy to judge others, because it's like pushing you away from where you were, and you forget quick, like, oh, okay, dang, that used to be me. I was literally doing the same thing. Like, I was drinking, I was falling out of clubs, I was falling out of bars.
You get
like,
self-righteous.
Oh, you get real self-righteous. And that's why I realized, I realized that just with my particular family. No one's family is perfect, you know. And I see a lot of times that since I'm the oldest sibling or the oldest cousin, that if they're not doing or they're not at where I'm at, that I'm instantly like, one, disappointed, which I don't think is wrong with that, because of course we expect all of us to build each other up, but more so judgmental sometimes, like, you know, and sometimes when I'm speaking to them, they can see that, and it's not really helpful to them, because now they don't want to speak to you, they don't want to tell you nothing, because now you're judgmental, you better than them, you know, and I don't want to be that way. So I have been learning that. So you have been really helpful for that, whether you know it or not, because you really not with the foolishness. When I be trying to talk to you,
I'm one of my strong hairs. I'm one of my strong hairs.
He don't give me no type of incentive. I be like going off. He be like, oh yeah, well,
ain't
you
no
know,
fuel for that.
No fuel at all. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to relax.
Sometimes you get mad too, like,
I do.
I don't know why I'm talking to you.
I gotta call somebody else who on the same level over there.
I'll be looking like.
Yeah, because in reality, I'm just being judgmental, and I'm not better than, you know, the next person. You know what I'm saying? And I was, you know, in the same place they were not too long ago. So I have learned that, and I have learned that now when, you know, because my family and a lot of people, my friends, they do depend on me, and a lot of people do kind of look up to me. So I don't want to take advantage of that, because that's a gift that God has given me. So I have learned to be more understanding. Like, that's one of my training regimens. So every time someone is speaking to me, or someone is speaking to me about someone else that they're
Yeah.
disappointed about, I try to take those moments to be more understanding, or try to talk to the person who is frustrated at the time, try to get them to understand as well, like, okay, well, we can't be, talking like that about this person because, at one point we was the same way.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I've been doing as
Yeah.
far as my training resume, basically being more persistent
Yeah.
with being more understanding. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you awareness of your own brokenness. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And you reminded of that every day.
Right.
And that's the key to spiritually, to just growing in the Father, is you becoming broken and broken. Less you, more Him. And so now when you look at somebody, it's not that you say, oh man, I'm glad, I'm not them. It's just like, thank God for your grace, because you brought me out of that. And you can bring them out of that too. So
Right.
I feel that was good. That was real good. Big
Well,
up, athlete.
I know with me, it's like more being basically more grateful of the things that I have. I
Yeah.
can easily go on social media and like see somebody, in Dubai, and I'm stuck at home
Yeah,
with 3 kids.
that's a real thing.
And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I want to travel.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not in a career yet.
Yeah.
I see all my friends, flourishing. I'm just like, man, how did I get here?
Yeah, fact.
3 kids later, But then I think about it, and then I gotta sit myself down when I get into that, I guess, jealousy moment.
Yeah,
Because I don't have what they have.
yeah,
So what I do is basically, I delete all my social media, and I just basically I reset myself.
that's good.
And then when I'm in this resetting, I'm reading the Bible more.
Yeah,
And then I definitely listen to praise and worship. I go in the shower and just scream my heart out.
Yeah.
Listen to praise and worship. And then I walk around my house looking at my kids. I'm like, you know what?
yeah,
I'm blessed.
Amen.
I'm grateful. And I continue to tell myself that until I build up the confidence. You know what? I'm blessed. I got a husband.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm grateful.
yeah.
And so then I continue that, even though I can slip back as soon as I open my
Oh, yeah,
social
yeah.
media and see this.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
I'm back at this again.
Yeah.
But I continue to keep feeding myself that, you know what, you're blessed, you're grateful, you're alive. That's a whole gift right
Yeah.
here. Because, we're in a pandemic. People
Right.
are dying left and right.
Right.
And then another thing I think about is like, somebody can be worse off than I am.
Yeah.
Somebody can have 3 kids and living in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to be thankful of these 4 walls I have, and I have food in the fridge. I can go get it, feed my kids that.
Come on. now
That
you're
right
talking.
there is a whole nother gift just to put food on the table. So I train myself to keep, putting positive thoughts
Yeah.
within my mindset.
Mm.
So, that's basically what I do. And then, to basically not have that, clutter built up is basically I just continue to read the word and praise and worship. And like you said, is be mindful of what you listen to, because that can literally, especially when my husband get on my nerves, when I start putting music on, I Ain't Sorry by Beyonce, put my deuces up, what I'm saying, but that can,
City Girls.
hello City Girls,
Yeah, we
act
know,
up,
we know.
hello, period, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I want to talk about.
But that
Real church.
can quickly, oh my goodness, I'm actually harming, my relationship with
Right.
him, because then I have an attitude with him.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do with him. I'm like, oh, here he comes.
Yeah.
Deuces up, I'm finna leave,
Yeah.
divorce is on the way, you know what I'm saying? But then I gotta continue
Yeah.
to feed myself. You're blessed,
Yeah.
you're grateful. Be grateful about what you have and not what you don't have.
Facts.
So that's what I continue to feed.
And that's your ministry to them too. Your behavior when
My
you're in
behavior,
conflict.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so confident with myself. Like, you
Yeah.
know what, I'm blessed what I have. I'm
Yeah.
good. I don't need all that
Yeah.
because it can cause more clutter. Then, because most of celebrity, they have all this money. Then what they do?
Yeah.
What they do with it?
Yeah. I feel you.
So, even when you bought me those beats, remember those beats you bought? I was so excited to have it.
Yeah.
I didn't have it yet. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to have it. I can't wait to have it. But as soon as I got it,
Yeah.
it didn't fill me up.
Yeah. Facts.
So then I realized that the material things don't fill me up.
Right.
God does.
Yeah, most definitely.
So
You're definitely spirit, and it has to be fed.
it has to be fed. It has to be fed in
Yeah.
positive things.
Oh, most definitely.
Because you can turn dark real quickly and then cause harm to everything. And you're like, man, what do I do? Where did I go from here? So.
But that's good. That awareness though, to see to embrace your emotions of jealousy when
Yeah.
you're looking at that. 'Cause a lot of times people don't do that. Like, oh no, I ain't jealous. It's all good. But yeah, they are. Deep down.
Definitely
They just,
so.
you know,
Big
Part of
facts.
everyone is to an extent.
Probably everyone, yeah. most
Yeah, big
definitely.
facts.
They're like, well,
But then I get people
I ain't
telling
like
me,
that picture.
then I got people telling me like, oh my gosh, oh you ain't not like that. Right?
How many,
Keep going.
you got 500 likes already.
Right.
You ain't that popping,
I
man.
only got 56. Like, man, no, you good. You can get my likes. Like,
Straight up, man.
no, but that's the truth though. Like, it can get to you that quickly.
How he making money on
How he
video
making money,
gaming, man?
exactly.
I be like, what in the world?
Exactly.
And he be like, subscribe. I be like, no, I'm not subscribing.
Ain't-
But I'm watching like
I'm watching, right?
Giving them views, though.
Give them you though.
Yeah.
Stay woke. Stay
Stay
woke.
woke, right.
I'm a victim, but yeah.
Definitely so. Definitely.
We all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, social media plays a huge part in our lives. And then I got people like, oh my gosh, you just have the best life, and not really
Facts.
realizing,
Yeah.
like, I'm broken and I feel like I don't have the best
Yeah,
life.
I'm telling you.
Because that's now I don't even judge others. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
they're probably going through something.
Yeah.
Hey, be blessed.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
we all broken at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's definitely a good training regimen. So your training regimen, just to be clear, so that'd be like if that spirit of jealousy is coming from the social media, that's where you exit.
I exit myself. I just remove
and
it.
then hone in.
Yeah, home in,
Gotcha,
and I
gotcha.
train myself.
Yeah,
Like you said,
yeah.
it's awareness. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah.
because negative thoughts started to cloud my judgment.
Facts. Facts.
And then I'm like, wow, my husband need to be making more money.
Facts. Perfect.
But see, come on.
Amen. I got you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's good. I like that. That's everybody can feel that. EB in the house. What up? I'm loving the dreads. Both of y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sidebar.
Why he do that?
I'm loving it.
Like,
Stable.
whoa.
I think one of my biggest struggles that I am starting to accept is the fact that I'm hard-headed.
Yeah.
And being hard-headed, I don't know, social media has made it as if it is a cool thing
Yeah.
to be hard-headed.
Yes.
Facts. Like it's,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's really not, because you learn the lessons the hardest. It
Yeah.
does not hit you the way it hit others. And you're like, why am I going through this? And so I realized that I cannot trust myself.
Yeah. Fact. That's good. I like that.
And every little thing I do, from how I think, what I do, what I'm planning on doing, I have to think twice about it.
Yeah.
I think it's when you have hit in your head so hard, so many times, you get to the point where you're just tired,
Yeah.
and you got to figure out, okay, what can I do now to change up? Like, cause this can't be life right here.
Yeah.
So you try to think of different things to do to try to, like, okay, well, I'm gonna pick up a new hobby, or I'm gonna, buy some things thinking that that's gonna do it, or I'm gonna listen to this song and that's gonna do it, or I am going to drink
Yeah.
and that's gonna do it. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Really, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So after you've gone through that phase, or for me, after I've gone through that phase, that's when I realized that I have to rely on, another source, a powerful source, something that I grew up in, but I never really took serious.
I'm with you. Yes, sir.
And so when I started to open up my Bible more, it was still very complicated. I didn't understand it, but I kept seeking it. And that's one thing, I did not stop. I knew if you got it, then I can get it. So I got to figure out how I'm going to get it. And I ended up getting it. And then, like, every time, I open my Bible, it is an intentional
Yeah, that's it.
step to, like, I'm going to get whatever
That's
you
what
have
I
for me.
did. That's it.
And by any means. And so that's what I started doing, and my hard-headedness actually starts to soften up because I don't trust myself, and I realize I'm hard-headed, and I'm like, I don't want to be that way anymore. So if that my mind say this, God, you're gonna have to show me what it is, because you know how it works. So show me, and He'll show me. He'll either give it to me in scripture, or I have mentors like Pastor. I call on you guys, or my husband for sure, to get answers on, how I'm supposed to move it. And I'm like, okay, I got it. But as long as you explain it to me, then, I'll be able to get it. And that's how I always operated. But then I also realized that God don't have to explain stuff to me. A lot of times, I'm like, that's another thing, and I realized that I am literally nothing more than a student. And today, I was telling Pastor that, for the rest of my life, I'm literally going to be learning.
That's good.
That's good.
Like,
good.
that's it, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, because it's so much to know, it's so much to learn, so much stuff I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, and how to move and how to be. And it's just like, you know, you think you mastered this, but in that, there's still a lot of other stuff to master within that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this walk with God is not for the weak. And you have to be ready for it. And then, you know, as long as you want it, He makes it available. He makes Himself available to you. But you gotta seek Him. And don't, you know, just because you don't hear Him today, don't mean that, you know, He's not here for you. Like, you have to be consistent with it. He gonna come.
I like what you said. I don't trust myself. That's big. That's big.
Yeah.
Because listen, even with the music, back to my music and all that, I literally be, because I listen to that hardcore rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So sometimes I'll be
Slow down.
I'll be literally just rap, but I'm like, you know, I'm chilling. Because you know that's the problem with the rap. It's just out here really living it.
Yes.
And they're actually doing it. And
They
it
can
provides,
relate to
it.
it
Yes.
gives them fuel
Yeah.
Yes.
to accomplish the mission that they're doing. Even though the rappers may not be doing that no more,
At all.
but it gives them, like, they own that. So that's the pregame warm up. And so myself, I'd be like, I'm not gonna do anything crazy like that. And so, but you can't, like you said, you can't trust yourself. 'Cause I remember I had Queen in the car, I had JoJo. I was at Target one day, and I was parking. Some dude thought I took his spot at a parking lot, right? And so I parked it, and then he parked his, and he walked out with his wife. His girl, you know, some white guy.
Yeah.
And I guess he's trying to be, you know, big in front of his girl, and he just staring at the car. And, you know, at the car, and just, trying to make, alpha male type of sound.
Yeah.
Man, I opened the door and said, "Everything good, man?" You know what I'm saying?
I can see you different.
I'm like, what? And then he just like, of course, you see the black male, and then, he just like, man, then he softened out a little bit, but like, man, you took my pockets, he's talking a little bit, but he's just walking away.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, I'm just making sure you good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I got like in the car, like, what they got over me, man? Who am I? I got my kids in the car. If this man having a bad day, like, you good, bro? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's happening to me. Like the one with the mindset grew up in the church. That's what I'm saying. That's big. You can't trust yourself. And I like the intentional. That's the thing with training. You can't haphazardly train. You cannot haphazardly train. Like, oh, I'm just doing it. Like, it's time to play the game. So let me just read the Bible real quick. That's haphazardly training.
Exactly.
Right.
That's not intention. You feel what I'm
You
saying?
can get like that.
You can
too.
get like that. I get like, because
It's quick.
I was doing that this week.
Exactly.
I was like, I need to play the game.
I need to hurry up and read my Bible.
Yeah,
Like,
hurry up.
Come on, let me get
That's
it.
not intentional.
But I'm not getting,
Facts.
I'm not feeling myself.
Facts. So
Just like your training regimen
Yeah.
for
Come on.
physical workout,
Yeah.
it need to be tailored to you specifically.
Come on.
Exactly.
The same thing goes
Facts.
for your spiritual training.
Yeah.
You can't just try to take something somebody else is
Mhm.
doing and assume it's gonna work for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to try to make sure you understand yourself. That's part of the examination part. You have to understand where you at, understand your weaknesses, and then you can tailor your own type of discipline regimen that's gonna get you where you need to
oh
go.
man,
Facts.
it's
And
big.
that hard, like you said, being hard-headed is something that most rebellious people in general, especially the millennials, that's why Instagram is full of, it's cool.
Yeah.
But
It
it,
make it seem like
it was cool for us too, we just didn't have social media.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be rebellious.
It's going against
Yeah.
the grain.
Yeah, so
It is.
it's cool. And
Yeah.
some people, you just born that way.
Yeah.
You're not trying to be like that.
Yeah.
Some people are born that way, but it takes you to go through the struggle
Yeah.
because God knows you before you know you.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
he know that he's gonna have to put you through a lot to break you down to get to him in the first place to have that realization. So I like what you said.
Yeah,
about
so
that.
it need to be clarity on hard-headed.
Yeah.
That is not a thing you want to.
No.
Like, that's not some of a bucket list you want to have. Like, yeah, I'm hard-headed.
Yeah, right.
I
Like, it's cute.
I do like we said, as far as that, we think it's cool, like going against the grain. That is definitely a mentality.
Right.
And even like when I pull up to a gas station, and I got my music bumping loud, I'm playing, some thug type music, right? And everybody just staring. that fuels me. It's like, yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm a hard head. Like, yeah, look at this black guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm with that.
And
you know
most
what
of
I'm
us
saying?
are looking at that way because most
yeah.
of us in our community think it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually thrilled. When I pull off, I turn my nose all the way up. Like, yes, I'm him.
Right.
I'm him.
I can see him.
Not doing that. I'm going to Bible study. But I'm him.
Right.
Stay woke, man.
Exactly.
I had to recognize that
Yeah.
about myself in the sense that I would get to the point where I would make excuses for my behavior.
Yeah, right.
And then when you really start to understand yourself,
Yeah.
like, I didn't need no excuse.
Yeah.
I sort of wanted to, you know,
That's what I want.
wanted to be devious at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
You know, I have, my flesh sort of pushes me that
Yeah.
way. I have to resist. You know, I don't need any great excuse on why it happened.
Yeah.
That's what's naturally gonna happen if I don't fight against it.
Amen to that.
Exactly.
I'm trying to tell you. Steve, you are.
Okay, when I think about me and things I struggle with, I definitely identify with what Quinn was saying with the lust. You know, I think as young men in our culture, a lot, we are raised to sort of, you know,
Glorified.
yeah, it is. It's glorified. So I got to a point where it was, you know what I'm saying, the lustful nature and things that I did as far as women, pornography, even masturbation.
Fact.
It was just, you know, it was very prevalent. And so then, like Quinn was saying, you get married, that didn't just go away. You know, even if you have a great woman that's satisfying your needs,
Come on, stay.
that
That's
doesn't
it.
necessarily mean that lustfulness went away. You know, it has to be addressed. Anything that you do has to be addressed. So when I think about, you know, what we've been talking about as far as championship mindset and the RDX, the regimen of discipline and examination, to me, the examination is the key. It's what I start with. You know, you have to be self-aware. You know what I'm saying? You can't be fooling yourself out here thinking that everything's good. You know, you can't, or like my wife was saying, understanding your own brokenness. Like everybody is broken.
Yeah.
Everybody deal with stuff, and if you're telling yourself that's not you, and you better than that, and then the only reason you slipped up is because this, because that, then you're giving yourself these excuses on why you're not necessarily broken. You're not addressing the bigger problem.
Yeah.
And so I found helping me was sort of along those lines. You have to understand and examine yourself and be self-aware. Like, you know, I can make an excuse. I can say, you know what,
Yeah.
like Quinn was saying, you know, my wife, you know what I'm saying, I came to her and she rejected me, so
Yeah, right.
so you know, I feel justified. Or, you know what, you know, I'm having a bad day,
Yeah.
things ain't going my way, and I had something that just kind of really hit me hard, and so I feel justified. Or,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, this is going on, so that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And what I found was, I started addressing those reasons, the made up reasons in my head.
Yeah.
And so then I started getting to a point where, you know what, you know, my wife is satisfying me. You know what, you know, things are great between us. You know what, you know, I don't have nothing I can pinpoint right now that's wrong,
Yeah.
but yet I still have this desire. Yet I still feel like just going left sometimes or doing something, you know, that I know I shouldn't be doing. Like, what is it me? What makes me want to do that? You know, and it's us. You're broken. Your flesh is going to pull towards that sort of thing. You know, and once you identify that, then, you know, creating a regimen it has to be based on, you know, your sensitivity. I know with me, one of the things that I began to notice with myself is that the closer I am with God and in tune with His Spirit, the easier it was for me to deal with things that pulled me. And so my regimen was centered around, you know, well, I know, and similar to what Quinn was saying, I know if I take the opportunity to get close to God or do something for me that gets me close to God, then that sets up my day, and that sets up my week, and that sets up, you know, a progression to stay away from those sorts of things. And so, you know, I try to address things. A big tool that I use as far as that goes is I like to write stuff down.
Yeah.
Especially like, you know, beginning of the week and beginning of the day, you know, I like to make a lot of lists and write a lot of things down that's on my mind, and it kind of puts everything in priority for me, lets me know my tasks that I need to get done, but also I write down more than just tasks. I write down, you know, things I need to do to center myself, you know what I'm saying, the things that I need to keep on my radar as far as keeping me where I need to be. And that's sort of a personalized regimen for me, because I can always go back to it and be reminded. So it's big for me to write stuff down, because I can have a thought, like, you know what, you know, you are kind of slipping, and you know your connection ain't really there, which can lead to a lot of stuff. And then that thought can go, and you can get caught up in a million different other things. So writing it down for me is good, because I can always represent, be reminded of it, and try to stick to my regimen. Another thing I think that I struggle with, that I'm working on, and I think I'm getting better at, is conflict and dealing with conflict in relationships, and also resolving situations. I know, especially when it comes to your spouse or someone close, it can be hard to do the right thing, because your emotions can get in the way. You're offended, your feelings got hurt, you know, or you feel disrespected, and then you can allow that to make you not really see the bigger picture. And it's funny, because it's easier to see the other people.
Yeah.
You know, like you see your kids.
Yeah, you just, yeah.
Like, you know, this person just snatched something from me, and now they come in, like, you know, and I got to tell you to be the bigger person. I got to tell you to go against your anger and go against what happened. Put that to the side. But then when it happened to me, I feel disrespected. I feel like I don't want to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, what's really going on. What is this situation really about? Okay, you know, I need to let go of that, and I need to address this situation, you know, properly. I need to get to the root of the problem and realize what's going on, and not allow, you know, me feeling angry, frustrated, or disrespected, or, you know, whatever it is, to cloud, you know, me doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I can easily tell somebody else, hey, you need to get over that, do the right thing. But
Do it all the time. Right. Especially with the kids.
Hey, it's not as easy when, especially, you know, I know as men, you know, just that feeling of disrespect is like, you know, it's hard to let it go. It's hard to let it go, and you wanna say something, or you wanna get your point across, or you wanna say, you know, like, hey, you corrected me on something, or you doing this, but you know, I have some stuff I could address with you at the same time, and now we just create a bigger problem.
That's big, yeah.
It ain't about stuff that I could address with you right now. You bringing something valid to the table.
Yeah.
And I should take the time and to see what's going on.
That's it.
And address it if it need to be addressed.
Yeah.
You know. And so that's something that I'm working on. I feel like I'm getting better at. The thing about these opportunities, I would love to sit here and say, like, I create these training regimens that just make me better in these situations. But for the most part, I go through stuff.
Yeah.
Like my wife was saying, and it doesn't work out well. You hit your head, and it's like God ends up being the discipline and provides the training regimen for me through trials and tribulations, because I lack the examination of myself. And so, you know, I had to go through obstacles, and I had to learn through experience, because, you know, I didn't learn the lesson. You know, and I wasn't aware of myself, and it had to be brought to me. So I'm learning to be more sensitive to that. I'm learning to, you know, take those opportunities, especially when it's an area that you've been hit in already, like to be better, and to overcome and not fall into, you know, losing self-control and losing understanding and not addressing the situation how you should, because you and your feelings.
Amen. Sidestep the struggle, man, right there.
Now, I like what he said though about sometimes you don't have a training regimen. A lot of times you
Yeah.
forget when you train, but God will stop you
Oh,
and He
facts.
will train
Yeah,
for you,
yeah,
and He will
definitely.
bring you back. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that is very true.
That's pivotal. That's definitely. I like it. Man, one of the comments you made, address the made up reading. That's a whole nother message. That's prolific. I like that. I like that. Address the made up reading. And that applies to anything.
Would it be like your excuse you
Yeah,
put in your
excuses.
head?
Yeah. Address the made up reading. That's deep. I like that.
Yeah.
I got a pun on that.
Because that was like a passive aggressive coping.
Yeah, it's the coping mechanism.
Yeah, it is
It
a
is.
coping mechanism.
It is. The
Yeah.
address you made up. That was good. That was good. And I like you should write it down. And that kid's expectation. That was good. Cause I do that. Even with like I'm big on my kids with this. We're gonna do work today. Them kids be growing up, they just play when they get up, they just so fresh. JoJo break down and cry every time I walk in the room.
Aw.
And I'm like, y'all ready for work? JoJo, oh my God, what is that? Oh my goodness. And so they had the up and down. They had their up and downs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that comes with training. But I had to remind myself, how can I expect them to do that? And I myself, oh yeah, I went to work today, but yet, you know, there is no other discipline. You know, I'm not disciplined in staying in my spiritual walk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then some days when I'm tired, I want to get lazy as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, man, I'm not gonna do no work today. Couldn't come out of nowhere. Oh, Dad, we did work. We do work today. I just be like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yeah. And I'm like, no, we good. But he's like, no, we can do work. And I'm like, let's go, man. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Get you right.
Get you right.
Right.
So that was big. And the clothes. As far as that kid expectation was good, as far as that, you know, that discipline and just how, you know, some days it's off. We don't want to train, you know what I'm saying? Kids just cry. Some days they pinpoint. They just like, oh, we're excited. I'm ready to do this. I'm on point. You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing, they still train, even though they had a low day. And that's what comes with training in physical. Anybody that go to the gym, some days you're going to have high energy days. You feel like you on point. Everything, the muscle
Everything
fibers
good.
are contracting.
Yeah.
Everything.
You wanna work out.
You love it.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have low days. It's going to be days it's just, I don't feel like doing that.
75%.
Hey, stay woke, stay woke.
Yes.
And then sometimes on low days, it start off low and then you
And
go.
then you gotta
you
do workout.
gotta do
Yeah,
workout.
yeah,
You first, like, I got
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And then some days, you just ain't on it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And then you bounce back, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we train spiritually. You gotta understand that God, He died for all our sins. And He died, when He died for the sins, He died to the power of sin. The power of sin is no more. The power of sin is that guilt, the shame, and all that, you know what I'm saying, that come along with sin. And that God, He died for all that, even your desires, you know what I'm saying? All that is encompassed to what God died for. So we gotta understand that when the whole thing is, when we have slip-ups, is to not let that affect you, but to keep training. It's
Right.
to keep training. Just like when you have low days in training. Some days, yeah, it's gonna be cold. You're not, you know, your body not hitting it. You're not hitting on all cylinders right now. But the whole thing is you just keep training and you stay in the fight. And so that's it outside. I mean, all hearts clear.
All hearts clear.
All hearts clear. Man, you can go ahead and pray.
Okay.
Pray loud for us.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here today, Lord, in Upside Church, for us to deliver another message to everyone else and especially ourselves. We ask that you come and heal everyone that has been affected by the virus, Lord. Keep everyone safe. Continue to keep our families safe, Lord. Thank you, Lord, again for getting us here safely, Lord. And we ask that you keep us, Lord, and help us continue to train and stay in your word and to be there for one another and help each other, pull each other up, God, and keep us closer to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Upside, let's keep training. Let's get it cracking, man. All right, I don't talk.